I made this video about a month ago which covered the basic mechanics of the game like parries, dodge counters, delayed counters, which got some pretty insane feedback from you guys. So after doing a lot of thinking, I've decided to make a part 2 to help with skill issues in Wuthering Waves. This will be an extension of the previous one, so I highly suggest that you guys watch it after this video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some in-game mechanics that are mostly overlooked in the game, and mastering them can actually help you do more damage within a short period of time, which will be very useful in the Tower of Adversity. I'm going to be covering echo resistance to interruption, echo animation cancelling, echo parries, swap concerto energy regeneration mechanics, character positioning, and lastly, resonance energy acquisition mechanics. As always, if this video proves helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Echoes in Wuthering Waves, whether 4-cost or 3-cost, are pretty broken, and it's surprising that no one's actually talking about this. What makes them overpowered is not only the buff that they provide, but they help you speed up your rotations by giving you 100% interruption to resistance. You can literally tank anything in Wuthering Waves using transformative type echoes. For those who are not aware, all echoes in the game can be grouped into 2 types. We have the summoning types, which are mostly 1-cost echoes like Havoc Prism, and 4-cost echoes like Jury, who basically do their own thing, whether dealing damage or buffing your active character, and your character will still be on the field alongside them. And then we have the transformative types that basically requires your active character to turn into those echoes to do damage and buff those characters. With transformative echoes, whenever your active character morphs into them, nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, can interrupt the animation while the echo is doing damage, which gives you the freedom to dish out damage and buff your active character at the same time. And this applies to all transformative echoes as well, whether 3-cost echoes or 4-cost echoes. So as long as you have enough health on your active character, feel free to tank the damage. Do be careful not to try this with holograms though, because those enemies can easily one-shot you to the afterlife. This mechanic pairs well with the next mechanic, which is echo animation cancelling. Most of the 4-cost echoes in the game gives the equipped character insane buffs that can only be activated if a certain condition is met, and these conditions mostly involve completing all the echo attack animations. But this can greatly increase the time that you spend prepping your main DPS to do damage, which is why echo animation cancelling is crucial in the Tower of Adversity. All the attack animations of transformative type echoes can be swap cancelled as long as you swap to your next character exactly when the last hit animation is about to begin, which makes it look like you have 2 characters on the field at the same time. A good example is the Monkey Boss Echo. I'm not mentioning his full name because it looks like it came straight out of a biology textbook. The Monkey Echo has 2 hits. The first hit is with its legs and the second one is with the huge log. To speed up your rotations quickly when using a character like Jian, for example, you can swap to any character like Mortefi as soon as the first hit is registered. You can easily tell when to swap by the sound of the first hit. This is a very important thing to learn because you mostly swap to your main DPS to gain the echo buff before you intro to them from your sub DPS like Mortefi to dish out damage. For other echoes like Lumpy Lumen, it needs to do 3 shock waves, so you can easily swap to your sub DPS right after you hear the sound of the second shock wave to cancel the animation by swapping to any character on your team like your sub DPS, for example, while the equipped character will still finish the echo animation and get the full buff that the echo provides. Morning Aches also has 2 hits as well, so you just need to swap to another character after the first hit lands to cancel the animation. Inferno Rider can also do 3 hits as well. As soon as the last hit where he summons a meteorite begins, you can swap out of the attack and it will still complete the animation, giving your main DPS the full buff that the echo provides. Same thing applies to 3-cost echoes like the Glacial and Havoc Dreadmane as well. You can easily swap cancel out of the last tail attack when the first hit is registered. So basically the general rule is that you can always swap cancel your echo transformation animations when the last hit is about to begin to speed up your rotations. But that's not all. Your echo attacks can also parry as well. As you can see here, Chisha transformed into Inferno Rider and used his attacks to parry Tempest Memphis incoming damage. This can be very useful for gun type characters because gun wielders in Wuthering Waves cannot parry enemy attacks, but that's fine in my opinion because gun wielders have so much freedom in this game and they can shoot enemies from from very long distances, so the parry nerf was worth it in my opinion. But if you love gun characters like Chisha or Alto, feel free to spam your echo attacks even when there's an incoming damage that can be parried, because you have full interruption to resistance on top of that. Now let's talk about swap Concerto energy regeneration. The game is made in a way that when you swap to other characters while their Concerto energy is not full, they will mostly start their basic attack animations from the third stage, which can allow the on-field character to proceed to the last stage of their basic attacks. This is very important because it helps regenerate a lot of Concerto energy. Let's take a character like Mortefi for example and analyze the Concerto energy regeneration of his 4 basic attack sequences. You can see here that the Concerto energy regeneration of the first, second, and third basic attacks were not that great, but the 4th basic attack helped recover a decent amount of Concerto energy. This is why it's very important to swap into him from your main DPS like Jian after using Echo Animation Cancelling, which will make Mortefi start his basic attack sequence from the 3rd stage and then finally to the 4th stage, helping him recover Concerto energy more quickly. The same thing applies to characters like Verena for example, which benefits her nicely because her 5th basic attack will let her regenerate Forte stacks as well, which she can consume by jumping and doing basic attacks, spending less time on the field. This mechanic applies to every character in the game, so feel free to experiment. Now let's take a look at character positioning. Few bosses in the game have unique animations that you can abuse to save yourself some time in the Tower of Adversity. A very good example is Impermanence Heron. When it's about to start the vacuum cleaner animation that sucks everything in, you just have to run to the back and continue your rotations, which saves you time that you would have spent dodging those attacks. Another boss pattern that you can abuse is Inferno Rider. When it gets off its bike, it will mostly start this animation where it dashes to hit you at high speed. The problem with this attack animation is that it sends it really far away from you, so you normally have to chase it down and then continue your rotations. What you can do instead is to start running in the opposite side when that attack animation is about to begin and then dash right when it's about to hit you. This will make it land very close to you where you can proceed to do damage to it. These are just a few that I noticed, so be sure to experiment and let me know what you find in the comment section. The last thing left to cover is resonance energy acquisition mechanics. Resonance energy regeneration in this game is very generous and it actually makes the energy regen main stat somewhat useless in many situations. The most common way to regenerate a decent amount of resonance energy is by using your resonance skill, intro skills, and defeating enemies. But what the game does not tell you is that when other characters use their resonance skill, it helps other characters in the team recover a decent portion of what the previous character obtained when they used their resonance skill. And it does not discriminate. What I mean by that is that it doesn't really matter if the other characters in your team have a different element than the character who used a resonance skill. The other characters in the team will still gain a smaller amount, but it scales off their energy regen. So the one with the highest amount of energy regen will gain more of the amount that was recovered when the resonance skill was used. Let's use a Havoc Rover team as an example. I made sure all 3 characters have 0 resonance energy before the test began. After using Rover's resonance skill, you can see that Shopkeeper recovered a high amount of resonance energy compared to Donjin because Shopkeeper is the one with the highest amount of energy regen. So how can you abuse this mechanic? If you have characters that can spam their resonance skills while using their Forte circuit like Zheji, Lingyang, or Mortefi, it greatly reduces your team's energy requirement because they can act as a battery to give resonance energy to other teammates, and you can always get their liberation up and running with a proper rotation. Here's another test that I conducted using Lingyang as a battery for Havoc Rover. I made sure that Havoc Rover had nothing equipped with 0 resonance energy. After Lingyang completed his barrage of attacks, we can see that Havoc Rover has recovered more than a quarter of her resonance energy. Yeah, Lingyang is better than you thought. So as long as you have characters that can spam their resonance skills, they can greatly reduce the energy requirement of other characters in your team, as long as your rotations are well optimized. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Consider liking and subscribing to help support the channel. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
So please whatever